What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Friday, December 22nd, 2023, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now, it is 7:09 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and we currently have U.S. nuclear forces on high alert. What you're looking at here are two U.S. nuclear war command and control planes up in the air. We have one out here in the Atlantic. It's been out here all day. And this is a Boeing E-6B Mercury. These planes are responsible for communicating with our submerged nuclear armed submarines. These are the planes that would be responsible for transmitting launch orders from the president to our nuclear armed subs. So they're critical for nuclear war. And we have two of them up in the air and a total of four that were up in the air today so far, including these two. So that's a lot, guys. Four in one day. And here's the other one heading out into the Pacific. This is extremely unusual in general, especially going into a holiday weekend. Usually, the U.S. military operates on a reduced schedule during holidays, and here's all of the nuclear warplanes that were airborne today. Look at this, guys. Four E-6B Mercuries, absolutely insane. And we had Russian doomsday planes flying to Siberia late last night. They flew to Novosibirsk and Omsk. And I know that there are some bunkers near Novosibirsk. There's the bunker in the Altai Mountains somewhere. Putin has a bunker there, which is not too far from Novosibirsk. But half a dozen Russian doomsday planes flew towards Siberia late last night. And here's all of them flying back from Siberia. Look at this, guys. These are all Russian doomsday planes. And we do know that Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, made a surprise visit to Washington, D.C. yesterday, which is extremely unusual. Here's another Russian doomsday plane. It was flying outside of Moscow late last night. And we had a bunch of U.S. military cargo planes go to the Middle East late last night. C-17s and C-130s. This could be preparations for the upcoming Operation Prosperity Guardian, which is going to be a massive attack on Yemen and potentially also the Iranian-backed militias in Iraq and Syria. And we had a C-5 Galaxy fly from Ramstein to Finland late last night. And the C-5 Galaxy is the largest military cargo plane in the U.S. It can carry a lot of stuff. And what's interesting is Finland and the U.S. just signed a defense agreement giving the U.S. access to 15 Finnish bases from southern Finland all the way up to the Finnish Arctic, and also giving them access to the Russian border area where Finland has their border with Russia. And the defense agreement also allows the positioning of weapons in Finland. Okay. So I don't know if the US is going to move tactical nukes into Finland, but a C-5 Galaxy in the middle of the night going to Finland is extremely suspicious, guys. They moved a lot of stuff last night, and I suspect this is just the beginning. Okay. After this defense agreement, I think we're going to see all kinds of equipment in Finland. We're going to see all kinds of ISR assets in Finland, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance assets, potentially U.S. fighter jets, potentially stealth bombers. I mean, there's just so many things we can move into Finland. Finland is so critical because it has a huge border with Russia. That's a huge advantage for NATO and the US. Now they can put everything right on Russia's doorstep. And we do know that Estonia has been putting anti tank obstacles along their border with Russia. And Finland closed their entire border with Russia, guys. So tensions between the Baltics and Russia are very high. Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Finland have all closed their borders down with Russia and Belarus for the most part. And many of those countries have put anti tank obstacles up So something's brewing in that region, guys. I would not be surprised if Putin launched a surprise attack on one of those countries. Okay, maybe a conventional attack. Here we have some video footage coming out of Yemen. This was today, and you can see millions of people in Yemen marching in support of Hamas and Palestine. Okay, so, guys, the situation in the Middle East is continuing to escalate and there's no end in sight, just like the situation with Ukraine. Okay, Ukraine is about to draft 500,000 people. Russia is about to draft 500,000 people and they're going to go at it. So, you're going to see staggering casualties on both sides in the coming months, okay, because Putin wants to take more land from Ukraine and Ukraine wants to take their land back. And both of them are on the chopping block because they're up for re-election soon. And so they want to show their people that they're tough leaders. And then, of course, you have the U.S. President, which could be a totally different one by the end of next year. So Putin and Zelensky are scrambling to make their moves now before Trump gets in office, because Trump is not going to run the things the same way that Biden has been running things. And what that means is Trump is probably going to be tougher on Zelensky and also tougher on Putin. If you noticed, Putin didn't invade Ukraine until Biden took charge, okay? He waited until Trump got out of office because, from what I heard, and this is coming out of Trump's own mouth, he said to Tucker Carlson that he warned Putin when he first got into office. He warned Putin, don't go into Ukraine, because if you go into Ukraine, we're going to do something very, very mean to Moscow, okay? He said that basically they would launch missiles at Moscow or something along those lines. I don't know, but he basically said that they would devastate Moscow if Russia were to invade Ukraine. That's what Trump said, okay? And that could be why Putin backed off, because he felt, you know what? Why should I risk it? I'll wait until Trump gets out of office and there's some kind of, weak leader, and that'll be my opportunity. And that's what basically he did. Okay, but now time is running out for Putin and Zelensky. They know that there's going to be a new president at the end of next year, most likely. So they're scrambling, guys. They're drafting each 500,000. It's going to be insane. Okay, I expect crazy casualties next year in Ukraine and also in the Middle East. Okay, look at this, guys. These are all the people in Yemen supporting Palestine. Okay, these are the same people that probably would support a jihad, or probably are supporting a jihad against the U.S. and Israel. And we're about to launch a massive military operation against this country. Okay, that's going to escalate things more. Not that I'm, sympathizing with these people here, but, just using common sense, that's going to escalate things, okay? So we could see terror attacks here in the U.S. and in Europe. We already saw attack in Prague the other day. We had that situation in Niagara Falls before Thanksgiving. A lot of these strange house explosions going on. So, be on high alert, guys, because things are going to be getting really intense after the holidays. And if you are traveling for the holidays this weekend, today, or for New Year's, be very, very vigilant, okay? I want to just update you guys with some of the latest information that I have. The Wall Street Journal reports that Iranian forces are allegedly providing real-time intelligence to Yemen's Houthi rebels, enabling the direction of drones and missiles to target ships passing through the Red Sea. And the White House said today that Iran was deeply involved in the Houthi attacks against commercial ships in the Red Sea. So you see where this is going, guys? They're trying to build the case that Iran is responsible for everything, and they're trying to build the case that basically we're going to have to attack Iran because the Houthis are backed by Iran and they're, helping the Houthis, and we're going to have to attack Iran. That's what they're building up for. That's what it sounds like to me, okay? And we do know that there's already 20 countries involved in this international force called Operation Prosperity Guardian. Okay, this international military operation, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be commanded by the U.S. military, actually. 20 countries, guys. That is huge. That's like rivaling the amount of countries that we had on board for Iraq and Afghanistan. Okay, the international coalition we had to go into Iraq and Afghanistan. And Biden signed the $886 billion defense budget, the largest ever in American history. Guys, we're almost at $1 trillion a year for our defense budget, which is just insane, guys. Absolutely insane. Our defense budget is many times larger than China's, Russia's, all the Western European superpowers put together. Okay. We have the largest military the world has ever seen. And according to Al Jazeera, the Islamic resistance in Iraq, those are the Iranian-backed militias, recently attacked Israel's Karish gas platform in the Mediterranean Sea. The incident occurred yesterday, and although Israel claimed that Hezbollah was responsible, it was later revealed that the drone originated from Iraq. Okay, so now these Iranian militias are actually attacking Israeli gas platforms, and they also attacked the city of Eilat. They confirmed that they launched a drone towards Eilat, which is in southern Israel. So, guys, the war is expanding, okay? These Iranian-backed militias, first they were attacking U.S. bases. Now they're going after Israel. And this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, they have brought back their 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the discount, you have to use the link preparewith.nyprepper.com. And the link is in the description below this video. And this 3-month emergency food supply has a 25-year shelf life, and it's all contained within 6 rugged, watertight buckets, so it doesn't take up a lot of space. Free shipping included, 25% off their normal price. Use the link preparewith.nyprepper.com to get the discount. They also have a 2-week emergency food supply, which is excellent for outdoorsmen or people who go vehicle camping. They also have a general store. If you click the My Patriot Supply logo at the top of the page when you get to preparewith.nyprepper.com, it'll take you to their general store where they have everything you can imagine, from potassium iodide to water filters, solar generators, solar panels, survival seeds, fire starters, anything you can imagine, it's all there. So use the link preparewith.nyprepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month freeze-dried food supply. And the link is in the description below this video. We have that whole situation in the Red Sea now. Okay, multiple companies, the largest shipping companies, oil companies in the world, not passing through the Red Sea anymore. That's going to have a global effect. So the situation is spiraling out of control around the world. Okay, the Korean Peninsula, Kim Jong-un just tested a solid fueled long-range missile, 9,000-mile range on this thing. Okay, and it's solid fueled, which means that they can launch it at any time they want. Okay, they don't have to fuel it up, meaning that they can launch a surprise attack against us, and we would have probably 15 minutes to respond or shoot it out of the sky. Okay, so guys, the situation is just getting really, really bad. And the US, Japan, and South Korea are conducting nuclear war exercises now together. Okay, this is insane. And the IDF spokesman, Daniel Hagari, says that the military is nearing complete operational control of northern Gaza as it further expands operations in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. IDF troops are continuing ground operations in Khan Yunis and at the same time are preparing to expand the activity to additional areas of the Strip with an emphasis on its south, Hagari says in a press conference. He said this comes after the IDF is at the final stages of operational control in northern Gaza as troops are battling the last standing Hamas battalion in the Daraj and Tufa neighborhoods of Gaza City. Hagari says the military is still fighting Hamas in other areas of northern Gaza, but at a lower intensity. We are almost at full operational control in the north of the Gaza Strip, he says. Okay, so Israel's basically done with the northern part. Now they're going to go to the southern part, and they've already surrounded Khan Yunis. They've already penetrated a lot of the tunnels. So I think it's just a matter of time before the situation with Hezbollah ignites, and Israel's going to go after Hezbollah once they're done with Gaza. And Spain, Italy, and France decline to be under U.S. command for Operation Prosperity Guardian. France's defense ministry said it supported efforts to secure freedom of navigation in the Red Sea and the surrounding area, and said it already operated in the region, but it said its ships would stay under French command and did not say if it would deploy more naval forces. France has a naval base in the UAE and 1,500 troops in Djibouti. Its frigate, the Languedoc, is now in the Red Sea, and Italy's defense ministry said it would send naval frigate Virginio Fasan to the Red Sea to protect its national interests in response to specific requests made by Italian ship owners. It said this was part of its existing operations and was not part of Operation Prosperity Guardian. And Spain's defense ministry said it would only participate in NATO-led missions or EU-coordinated operations. We will not participate unilaterally in the Red Sea operation. Wow, guys. So Spain, Italy, and France turning their back on us. Very interesting. And I think the reason why they're doing this is because they have big Muslim populations and they're afraid if they participate, it may cause some domestic issues. But very interesting. And earlier this week, China's top secret space plane, dubbed Shenlong, released 6 mysterious objects after reaching the Earth's orbit for the third time in 3 years. They are being tracked by the U.S. Space Force and designated the names Object A through F by the U.S. Department of Defense. Amateur astronomer and satellite tracker Scott Tilley has been closely tracking the objects, examining the signals they've been emitting, and as he told the South China Morning Post, they appear to be sending the strongest signals while passing over North America. I'm seeing a pattern in its radio emissions while over me, and it appears to favor low elevation western passes, he told the newspaper. This could indicate a clandestine ground station on the west coast of America or on a ship off the coast. Wow, guys, absolutely crazy. It's the third time China's secretive space plane has released objects in orbit over its 3 missions. During its first mission in 2020, it released 1 object during its 2-day journey. During its second voyage last year, the U.S. Space Force tracked another object that was released by the spacecraft. So this is strange, guys. This plane is releasing random objects into our atmosphere, basically flying over the U.S. And based on how they're flying, it could indicate that China has some kind of clandestine ground control station here in the U.S. That's insane. And we know that China already has a bunch of back doors in all of our critical infrastructure. And this was reported a few weeks back. The director of national intelligence confirmed that China has gained access to much of our critical infrastructure and installed back doors. So if there were a war with Taiwan or World War III or a nuclear war, they could basically go into our critical infrastructure through the internet and shut everything down, overload circuits, blow things up, melt things down. Okay. So China's really getting aggressive. And then, of course, last year we had those balloon incidents when China sent the balloons over the U.S., over our missile fields, and over Michigan. Russia may sever diplomatic ties with the U.S. if Washington confiscates Russian assets frozen over the Ukraine conflict. The Interfax news agency quoted the Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Rybakov as saying on Friday, and Russia will never leave in peace any country that seizes its assets. The Kremlin said on Friday, saying it would look at what Western assets it could seize in retaliation in such a scenario. The Kremlin was commenting on an idea being actively discussed in the West, where some politicians have suggested that frozen assets worth $300 billion be handed to Ukraine. The Dutch government will send an initial 18 F-16s to Ukraine, President Vladimir Zelensky announced on Friday, following a conversation with the Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte. And Russia is ready to swiftly respond in kind to Washington deploying short and medium-range missiles in Europe and the Asia-Pacific region, the Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Rybakov said. And if you guys are not aware, I mentioned this in one of my updates a few weeks back, but U.S. Air Force General or U.S. Army General, I can't remember which one, confirmed that the U.S. has already deployed a long-range cruise missile in the Asia-Pacific region, and it has like a range of several thousand miles. A top Russian diplomat has said Moscow and Washington were still engaged in sensitive negotiations over a prisoner exchange, but accused the U.S. side of leaking details to the media. The United States said on Friday it would place sanctions on foreign banks that supported Russia's war in Ukraine in a new bid to exert economic pressure on Moscow as it diversifies from the West to China. The Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski visited Kyiv on Friday to present an aid package for Ukraine on his first official foreign visit. And the Russian President Vladimir Putin held a telephone call with the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas on Friday to discuss ways to de-escalate the conflict in Gaza, as well as humanitarian relief efforts, the Kremlin said. And Germany updated the list of military assistance provided to Ukraine recently. Ammunition for Leopard 2A6, 3 self-propelled anti-aircraft guns for the Gepards, 30,000 rounds of ammunition for self-propelled anti-aircraft guns, and 2,500 155mm shells, 2 mine-clearing tanks Wissant 1, 10 reconnaissance drones by the name of Vector, 2 border protection vehicles, 2 AMPS self-protection systems for helicopters, 8 trucks, 2 truck tractor trains, 8x8s, and 5 semi-trailers, 8 vehicles, 25,000 40mm shells for automatic grenade launchers, and medical materials. So a lot of ammunition for anti-aircraft guns and a lot of 40mm shells for automatic grenade launchers. Very interesting. And we have a new poll coming out of Pennsylvania saying that Biden and Trump are basically tied for the 2024 election. This poll came out of Muhlenberg College in Allentown, and it showed 42% of voters in PA prefer Biden compared to 41% for Trump, and the poll has a margin of error of 6%. And there was a poll, I believe it was Wall Street Journal, or was it another one? I can't remember which one it was, that showed Trump was actually leading Biden here in PA by a few percent. So Pennsylvania is critical for presidential elections. You cannot become president without winning Pennsylvania. So all eyes are going to be on PA, because whoever wins PA becomes the president. Okay, so it's looking pretty good for Trump right now. I'm actually surprised. So that's pretty much the latest information that I have, guys. I want to just let you guys know that I will be operating on a reduced schedule for breaking news over Christmas and Christmas Eve. I will be putting out updates tomorrow, but on Christmas Eve, which is Sunday, I'll probably put out just some outdoors content like firearms videos and off-roading, things like that. Same thing with Christmas Day. But if anything major breaks, I'll definitely let you guys know. If something crazy happens, I'll try to get something out. Okay, but I will be operating on a reduced schedule Sunday and Monday. That's pretty much it for this one, guys. I'll be back tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon with another update. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the bell icon below so you get notified when I post these updates. And other than that, I wish you guys all a Merry Christmas. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.